It's the MIXT NUTZ Positive News Podcast. This week we've got Quincy, we got Patrick, and we got Peter. And we will start off with good news that we've done our first ever live gig last week at the Cyber Awards.
Yes.
What was that like, guys?
It was great. No one got sacked.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was.
Everyone was loving it.
I don't really like beef, but the pre-meal was alright.
Yeah,
the beef was alright.
That's one of the best things about doing a corporate.
Yeah,
Free
yeah.
food.
Yeah, very,
I
very
didn't
nice.
get any.
You didn't get no beef?
Yeah.
No, we had to go out.
He's such a liar. I was getting changed and I saw you and Dish coming in with big, massive...
Yeah, we had to go out and buy it ourselves.
Oh,
It was a low budget gig, guys.
I see.
No
Well,
budget.
if you had to pronounce their surname, that's probably why you needed the beef.
Okay,
Getting the beef.
explain that to people who don't know what they're...
All I'm saying, there were some names up there who were nominees, right? If he was playing Scrabble, he'd have got a lot of points.
Oh yeah, he'd have won 17 games in one round. It's so funny because this is the thing when you do corporate events. So for anyone who doesn't know, so you've got like when we do stand-up shows, they're just like anyone comes. When you do a corporate show, it's people within that industry. But the problem is because they're within that industry, they're with their peers, so you can't really take the mick as much. You know, in a comedy show, you go, oh yeah, look at them, what's happening here, and everyone's laughing because they just think it's comedy. Whereas there, in a company thing, they're all panicking, thinking, oh my God, if that goes on a staff email around, HR will get hold of it. And he was saying that about that person. And because we had a list of names, and because it was an international event, some of these names, had like 17, 18 letters just in the first
And what was really funny as well, so after we tried to pronounce the names, the first and surname, wasn't even bothered with the middle names. And then we had representing Team GB, it was like, and Pete.
Yeah, exactly. After we've gone Kiram Dish, Karuka, Mohammed Ilhamduddin, and it was like Ilhamduddin, and it was all like that long. And then it was so funny because when you were doing it, because I managed to get like Steve Smith. And James, and then you were getting
I was getting the Scrabble names.
As someone who hasn't got a conventional name, I would like to say that we unconventional people do like people pronouncing our names. I had a job once in British Airways where they said that you couldn't pronounce the name Dishad, and they had called me Dave for the entire summer. It's like.
But Dishad is quite an easy name. It's not.
I know.
But they might have been Only Fools and Horses fans.
Yeah. His name's not Dish, it's Trigger. What are you talking about, Dave? It's like that.
But yeah, I do feel for people who've had surnames that people can't pronounce.
Listen,
just get out there, get out of the world and learn a few names.
I've been called names. I normally get IC1, that's police for black man.
Is that really? I see one there. Have you ever had have they ever mispronounced your name?
If you mispronounce my name, you're racist. You can't mess up Quincy. Quincy's one of the most famous characters on TV.
He was the doctor.
He was MD, that's right. MD, yeah. Jack Colburn. Jack Colburn, right?
There's
Cuban, that's right.
famous music producer Quincy.
Quincy. Oh yeah, and Quincy as well.
Quincy Jones.
Yeah, Quincy Jones.
What other Quincy? Are there famous Quincy's?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fruit called Quincy, and there's a place in New Zealand called Quincy.
Really?
No. Yeah.
And the fruit.
There's a fruit, yeah.
Please email if you've got any other favourite Quincy's we've missed out. About cybersecurity, did you learn about cybersecurity?
I learned that if you're being handed, you can press Control or Delete. Start again.
That's the strength of our IT, our computer programming skills.
Did you hobnob? Did you mingle with the famous people?
I love that whole thing, networking. This is what people go. Oh yeah, networking. It's great, and all networking is us lot speaking to people who are more successful, who've got more money than us, and have got bigger businesses. All you're doing is afterwards you're chatting to. We were collecting business cards of people who've got companies that are probably worth 3.2 billion.
I spent the first 3 people talking to saying, how much fun did you get?
Do you remember? Yeah.
I just got £1 million. £1 million?
Yeah.
funding.
God, yeah. Do you
There's
remember?
me scratching for a little lottery.
Yeah, it was that guy. It was one of the awards. Do you remember where the company who won the award for like best startup, they came up, but they didn't even get the trophy because it was the investor who had put the money into them. So it's literally, it's like it is. I mean, I don't really follow football much, but it is the equivalent of a football team who've gone out all season, played the match, and then that Jim Radcliffe or whoever, like the chairman, just walks up like some old bloke in a suit, goes, "Well, thank you guys. I'll
Cheers,
take
mate.
that
That's
silverware."
right.
Yeah.
I know investment back. No, we met some interesting characters.
What do you talk about if what's the, because they're talking about 110011 and you guys are comedians.
It was kind of weird because we wanted to know about obviously their industry, but they were more fascinated in us than the comedy.
Yeah,
They were talking a lot about the comedy and how we interacted and stuff like that, and they felt that it was very brave to what we do, and I was like, well, even braver to what you do. You know what I mean? And we were trying to secure corporations and companies who shaft us every week.
Yeah.
You're protecting
Yeah,
them.
exactly. They're remortgaging their house to set up and do that, whereas we're just going out the house just to do a couple of gigs. You think?
Find it amazing that had those people, like the whole going back to work thing, and their job, you don't need to go into the office.
Yeah.
You could be in a shed, just be
they could be
in your room.
Oh yeah, I the only thing is, I do see what they're doing is amazing, but I do think that I understand why them companies, they make so much, but they do need, like when they were chatting to us, or they chat, to people, because they think the thing that they're lacking is that front face. It's that communication skills. That's the problem, because they're lovely, you chat to them, but
like the sixth Nolan.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Just keep them in the cupboard.
Yeah. He's like that Jackson never comes out.
Oh yeah. He's just in the cupboard doing the dancing, but he doesn't know how to put it into a performance. He's just
chucking little sandwich.
Peter, did you have you were behind the scenes? What was it like? Was it a good show?
Peter was very well dressed. You were, very smart. Yeah.
Very smart. What's the Scottish group?
Proclaimers.
Bay City Rollers.
Oh, Bay City Rollers.
These are really old. Quincy's just coming up with these references that no young person. Bay City Rollers, the Nolans, and Jackson 5.
This should be the Proclaimers because I'm a twin.
Oh yeah.
It could be, yeah. This is way of just saying that he wants a younger audience, so I can't mention.
Yeah, I know, yeah. I didn't realise.
He's like crisscross.
Yeah, crisscross. Listen, there's nothing wrong with Cliff Richard. Listen, let me tell you. Do you know the Bay City Rollers? I'd only really heard of them a couple of years ago, only a few years ago recently, was because I didn't know this, but they were apparently the first boy band, apparently, weren't they, of the 60s or the 70s?
70s.
Because I was in Edinburgh at the festival, and they were doing they're doing a comeback thing.
Yeah, one of the first, or one of the few.
Well, one of the few, like
commercial,
the Beatles and the Stones, whatever. But it was full of all like middle-aged women who were going mental and like in town, like what is going on? But they were all big fans of them, apparently.
Oh yeah, at the Edinburgh Festival, there was a play about one of the guys, Alan, that was in the group. Yeah.
It's weird watching fans grow up when they were young and then they still follow them.
Yeah.
So when they were young, they threw their knickers in. And as they get older, they throw in their petticoats. There you go.
Hang on, give us another 15 minutes. I'm just unzipping everything. Now they'll be getting their underwear and washing it. They'll be like taking it off to the laundrette.
Put on a 40.
Yeah, but do you know what is funny? Nowadays, you couldn't get away with that because that is harassment. Yeah. Surely it would be, wouldn't it? Or it'd be health and safety. Because do you remember some fans recently? Who was it? One of them was a singer I've never heard of. She's quite a modern singer. But one of the other, not Billie Eilish. I know Billie Eilish, but it was another one like that, like Sabrina Carpenter or something like that. And it was. One of the fans threw a phone. Did you not see this? And it smacked him in the head. Yeah. And I think it happened to Cardi B as well. But
she's meant to throw it back.
Yeah, because no, they throw the phone because they want you to take a picture. They think the artist is going to stop the concert. Pick up your phone. Yeah. What's your code? Sorry, what's your code? I'm just trying. Yeah, all right. Let me just do a picture. Yeah, hold the music. Let me just, and then you're going to throw it back to them.
And the fans are really
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember going to see. Well, it was actually a concert of the musical Chess, and Josh Groban was in it at the Royal Albert Hall. Yeah. And I was sitting right next to a load of his fans. Wow. And this one woman, while he was singing his big number, which was amazing, he's got a fabulous voice, she took a photo of him and she spent the whole song looking at the photo of him on the phone and kissing it.
Oh, stop.
And he was up there. And you think, you wanted to say, what?
Yeah, crazy. Do you know what that reminds me of? So my missus she got to a concert. It was at the O2, and it was an American group or whatever. She followed them as a kid. I didn't know much about them at all. And we were there, and it was full of younger women or people from that sort of age, that group. And it was one lasted exactly the same thing. She came and sat here. They all looked exactly the same, sort of like quite. These lads, they all had sort of like a, not like coolish, but sort of like a hipster sort of look. And they all come in, and this lass came in, got a phone out like this, and literally just recorded it from the start to like for the first half. Literally just held it like that. And I'm there with my missus, and I was just going to say to the lass, I said, listen, love, if you want, I've got a tripod, I'll film it, you go home. Just come back and I'll be sent. What is the point? What are you doing? Come to a concert, just filming it, you just go home and what? It's mental. What are you wasting your
come back in an hour.
Yeah, come back, I'll just film it for you, love. I'll just give it.
Well, you two are obviously attractive stand-up comedians. Have you had fans throw their knickers at you or anything?
Go on, Quince. I reckon Quince must have.
Been stalked.
Yeah.
You've been stalked?
Oh, yeah. Go on, what was your... I'll tell you something.
What's that? Yeah, what's happened there?
Well, it was a dark night.
Me and Peter like, go on, this could be a movie. Go on.
Yeah, so yeah, I done a gig one time up north, the northwest of England, and I met a lass.
Oh. Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean you met one?
Like a groupie? Was it a groupie, or it's that close, isn't it? Yeah.
I met a lass. That's what I'm saying for online.
Yeah.
Not lassie, a lass.
Not a lass, lassie.
And yeah, so we just like exchange bodily fluids, moving numbers. And then one time, obviously it was before social media. You find out like I'm.
Oh, so they can't find you. That's great.
Yeah, but obviously flyers are depending who you are. And I remember I was gigging abroad. Abroad. Yeah, and Spain, isn't it? So we rode. And then I got a message on my phone saying, "I'm in the back. I'm watching you." That's me.
What? No, that's terrifying. That's like that bloody where she boils the rabbits. What's that film called? Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, she was in the audience.
That's ridiculous.
She was in the audience. And it wasn't like my own gig, I was with other comics, but she came over. You know what I mean?
And what did you do? Did you just sort of pretend?
Smashed.
No.
As you're here, love.
You're leading her on. He's leading her on.
As you're here, you know what I mean?
It wasn't quite the scary story I was expecting, but yeah.
He was asking about stalkers, not
30 after. I've had the departures.
Yeah. Quincy's just telling us about his life on the road with
that's a stalk. That's a stalk.
No, well,
I did say to her, I knew I threw it down. You know what I mean? I represented, but to travel like
that's crazy.
3,000 miles to come get some more.
No, that's just silly.
It's interesting, like with fans. I used to be a cheerleader on Top of the Pops.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, brilliant!
And you know all this thing with the BBC and Jimmy Savile. But the thing
I've never heard of him. What happened to Jimmy Savile? Hang on, I've got your letter.
But the thing was, a lot of the young ladies that were in the audience, they were there for the sole purpose of getting off with one of the bands. Didn't matter if it was the lead singer or the drummer or the manager or the roadie. No. It was like they wanted to score points, you know. And yeah, it was obviously there was obviously happening the other way around as well.
That is so weird. I always wondered why every band has 30 roadies, because probably like 28 of them roadies are not even working. They're just there to try and couple. Yeah,
or alibis.
They just turn up and I'll hold the cable.
It's amazing what fans do, because even down to Sam Cooke, who's come out of the church. He turned women away from Christianity. I know hymns are supposed to be powerful, but
yeah, but they go, oh my God, I'm possessed.
Well, I mean, there's a serious side. I mean, I obviously, this is a controversial character in the comedy industry, but I filmed Russell Brand. I don't know if this is going to get censored, but I filmed Russell Brand at the Comedy Store once for a gig, and he basically didn't come onto the stage, and the manager at the Comedy Store said, Russell Brand's in the back at the moment with a fan. What? So this type this type of stuff's been, and obviously
I'll wait till my gig is finished. I'm professional.
And obviously
so
now...
he was getting off with a fan?
Yeah, and then he comes up on stage.
Allegedly.
Well,
he's a Christian.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, there's that, and there's also the other side, the darker side, where he has actually, loads of people have come out saying that he's, assaulted them as well. So
Allegedly.
it is allegedly, yeah. So it is a very.
It's like what people said about that. You've got to be careful when people tell. I remember I've had it in the past where. I used to, because look, I do this at the end of shows or whatever, like, I'll chat to people, whatever, and I give people a hug or whatever. And sometimes people take that the wrong way. And I remember doing a gig where I was chatting to people, and then a woman turned up, she was coming for the hugs or whatever, and then she would start turning up to different venues just to come for a hug or whatever, and then see the show, and she'd be coming watching this tour show or whatever, the same show that I'm doing on tour, even though I would slightly change it, but she was turning up to everything like this, and then I realised alarm bells were ringing when she turned up to, I think it was somewhere like Felixstowe or somewhere like in Norfolk, this theatre in the middle of nowhere. She turned up an hour before I got there, before the thing, told the manager, the theatre manager said, I'm Patrick's wife. And the manager went, well, why are you not here with Patrick? Why are you here an hour early? And the manager already sort of clocked it, and he thought, this is a bit weird. And then when he went, well, why would you come separately and all this? And also she was older than me, and she was one of the, and so he just went, this can't be right. And then he said to her, and she wanted to come backstage to the dressing room, and he went, no, of course you can't. You have to wait to come. And then she went, I'm actually his agent as well. And then at that point he just went, yeah, all right, love. So you just wait in the and she would turn up to different venues like that where, and it was meant, and she wouldn't say this to me, but she would say this a bit, and he just went, look, she's a nutter. And they would bring like cards and chocolates, and I didn't mind that if it was, but then when they make cakes or something, you've got to be careful. I didn't realise this, I wouldn't eat it, but because they're going to put, you have a slice of cake with them, next thing you know.
No, unless you eat it and you fall in love with them. What you put in this cake?
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, yeah.
And she's a bikini wax to put in it.
Yeah. Oh.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
What do you want to do?
This is why, bringing it back to what we originally spoke about, this is why we need cyber security.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So we can spot them from a mile.
We should turn to religion, lads. That's what we should do.
And
there's a lot of religion in the air. I myself am partaking in the holy month of Ramadan, which means I'm going to lose a lot of calories. What else is going on at the moment? There's Lent. What else is going on?
There's
Christianity.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day, that's happening, yeah.
St. Patrick's. What have you partaken in St. Patrick's?
Yeah, do you know what? I always do a gig on St. Patrick's Day, and it's so funny because obviously my dad's side, he's all Irish, and I always get people say, can you come and do this gig? And I've done so many. Do you remember the one at Box Park, Wembley? I didn't even know that was a thing, but like Wembley Way, they've got, and I remember doing one of that, and it was hilarious because it was like full Irish lineup. And obviously my name, Patrick Monahan, it's like, and actually we were talking about pronouncing names, and the amount of different ways people pronounce my name. Monahan, and I was like,
What's the official way?
How do you pronounce it?
Monahan.
That's it.
You don't put no in it.
Monahan. You got to shout it like that. But there's, so I remember doing these things, St. Patrick's Day, and it was hilarious because sometimes they're on the day, but sometimes they'll be slightly earlier. And this happened a couple of years ago. I was going to do a gig in Leicester Square. So by Leicester Square, for anyone who doesn't know, Chinatown is there. Yeah. So the Chinese New Year, and I only found this out when I was there, was Chinese New Year is like about middle of Feb, 17th of Feb, but it goes on till about the 3rd or the first week of March. So Chinatown had this massive thing going on. They had this big dragon and everything. It was the Year of the Dragon. And this was just, so the Chinese New Year had finished, but they were obviously doing this thing to celebrate it at the weekend. It was the weekend before, like a week before St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going, and they were doing these events, so they're doing stuff, And I was going there, there was two fellas absolutely wasted outside. I'm trying to work out where this gig is. And these two fellas, I was chatting to them, and they were stood there, and God's honest truth, they were stood there like this, and they were looking at Chinatown. There was a massive dragon going like this, and they went, what the hell's that going on there? What is that? And I was like, the other fellow he went, oh, of course it's for St. Patrick's Day. They're doing it. And I went, what, a dragon, what, leprechaun dancing? What, is it like the year of the leprechaun? It's like, they didn't clear, and this is the problem, that, you know, because this is what I love about London, it's like a melting pot, but people think, they instantly think, oh yeah, because like now we're doing Lent or whatever, or Ramadan, they all think, oh yeah, it's the same thing, everything's just...
Well, St. Patrick's Day would have fallen on the Newcastle United Day, because
yeah.
The Geordies I've never seen so much Geordies in one. It was like,
yeah,
seas of them.
Crazy.
From the weekend, yeah.
Yeah. I was doing gigs in were you in London?
I was in Windsor, but that was my weekend birthday, and it was literally...
Explain to the viewers what's going on, to our American
There was
friends.
a cup final with Newcastle versus Liverpool, and it was literally...
At Wembley
in London, Newcastle won, but Newcastle fans literally was in London until Monday.
Oh yeah, do you know what? This is the difference. My mate, he was coming up from Northampton. He was coming up on, I think it was Sunday he was coming up, and he said Liverpool fans were coming on Sunday morning. He said he'd never seen anything like it. He forgot about the thing they rammed. Newcastle fans, like you say, they'd come up 2 weeks ago on a Friday. They'd been camping out for 2 weeks. I was doing gigs in London on Saturday, and I'm on the tube, I'm jumping on a tube, and suddenly out of nowhere I could just hear people going, all right, Ginola, and they're shouting at each other. So Ginola is like David Ginola. And I was thinking and there's loads of like tourists I'm confused, and I'm thinking, like I know a bit about football, and I'm thinking, David Ginola, who's shouting David Ginola for like 20 years ago?
It's the last time the team was good.
Yeah, exactly. Last time they got anywhere close.
I gigged that Sunday, and it was like, I was in Bethnal Green, it's a part of East London, backyard, and there was teams of them, and there was guys crying with emotions, just happy that they've won a trophy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well
it's the first time in
70 years they've won a trophy.
So I heard somewhere it was 56 years, but then I heard somewhere else it was 19.
Well, 56-year-old Geordie looks like a 7-year-old.
56.
Yeah, you stay that age well.
I know, yeah. God, they'd be happy to live to the age of 56. Most of them.
Yeah, because I saw the video of Ant and Dec celebrating.
Oh, they celebrate? Yeah.
Because I did panto with them years ago in Sunderland.
No, oh God, they must have got booed.
And the fanzine of Sunderland football were telling people not to come to the panto because Ant and Dec were in it.
They hate each other, don't they? Sunderland and Newcastle.
Tony Blair's a Newcastle supporter.
Really? You know, because I know his constituency was Sedgefield, which is in Durham, but apparently he was originally born in Scotland. People don't know that. You know,
I didn't know he was born in Scotland, but I knew he was
Scottish, but he's like private school. He's like really posh, and they put him in Sedgefield. But it was so funny. So I was coming to Embankment to jump on the tube after the gigs, and it was rammed full of Geordies. And what was so funny was, you know, like where they're all crowded around the machines. You know, like the London Tube map. If you've not seen it, Dish will put a picture up, and it's like just the tubes. It's pretty standard, basic. And you know, normally when you see people stood there, like even though we're Londoners now, I was going to say as a Londoner, but you go and help people. Or even the staff wouldn't get involved because it was loads of Geordies. They were just stood there, hammered, going. They were pointing at it, going, "How the bloody hell are you meant to work that out, mate?" And I was like, and the staff were just like confused, going, "Well, it's pretty." And I was like looking at them, and I went over, and I was like going, "Mate, you've got an underground in Newcastle. Do you know they've got an underground system? Yeah, they've got the metro. The metro, it's the same thing. You literally, just because there's a circle."
I've never heard so much London destinations mispronounced in my life. It was, you know, we're going Wanstead.
Yeah.
What?
What
is dead? What is dead?
Wanstead, yeah.
What? Hold on. What's your accent then, Pat? What's your accent?
Mine's Middlesbrough. So basically, you know.
You Tyne-way?
No, we're Teesside.
So yours is a Geordie accent? No. Yours.
No. So you know, like when you did it in Sunderland, so Geordies at the top, which is actually like football as well, so, and also wealth. Geordies are the rich one, they're at the top. And then you've got where you were in Sunderland, that's Wearside. So you've got Tyneside. and then the weir side hate each other. These two, and I feel sorry for them because the Geordies and then the Sunderland are like their poor cousins, aren't they? Whatever that is. Then you've got
the six Nolan.
Six what? Six
Nolan,
oh,
sister.
Six Nolan. I thought you said six finger as well. No. And then you've got Teesside. So we're like, like you've got like a poor second cousin in thinking that no one ever talks about because it's that bad, and that's like Middlesbrough Teesside. So I've
been Middlesbrough 3 times.
Yeah.
I know why you're down here.
Yeah. They're lovely people.
We'd like to. Anyone viewing from Middlesbrough is mostly.
It was like high. Remember the film High Noon? It was literally.
Yeah. What everything? Yeah. Did you? Which parts did you go to?
I went to. It was near the Middlesbrough football ground.
So Ayrsham. So you went to Ayrsham and then you got the Sound Step. Yeah.
And the gig was in like an industrial estate.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like. Never. This is proper northern.
But you know what? Lovely people. But the problem is, it's like when time forgets. Have you guys been up there? No, you've not been up there.
I've been to
Middlesbrough. Yeah. So you've been, and the thing is, they're nice people. But it's so funny because I remember when I was up in Glasgow or Edinburgh. When you got to Manchester or London, and I remember chatting to people and they go, this end of town, gosh, so rough, but that end, that's the posh end. And I was thinking, where in Teesside, there's no, your roughest area in town is our poshest area. There is no, like people go, where's the nice area? I go, well, get on the A66, drive about an hour, and then you're gonna, when you're out of that. But they're nice people, but it's just.
Nice. It was just like the council and the government forgot to build.
Yeah, a thing.
Properties.
Yeah.
Businesses up there. Yeah. It's literally like a wilderness.
Yeah. Well, it's the only place. No, there's a couple of other places like that, but it's one of the only places where you can still buy a house for £1. So there's a scheme. This is generally true. So in where you would have been at Ayrsham, but if you go across town by Linthorpe, a massive area of an estate where they had to try and pay people to go in, and the thing is, people wouldn't, because the problem is, if you bought a house, like the houses were like originally like £8,000 or £10,000, if you went to buy it, you would need £30,000 security. No, not to fix it, but security just to stop someone from ripping your house apart. Like if you went in and you put, I'm going to put a TV there, I'm going to put new blinds up. Literally, as soon as you went out to go to Lidl, you're going to go to the shop, you come back, the blinds have gone, they've taken that, they're pulling up the floor. It's like, so they couldn't even sell them for market value. They had to sell them for £1. And they said, look, if you invest in £1, we'll get loads of people to come in, and so imagine all of us now, we'll all put £1 in, and then we'll get loads of people like us to invest.
And what are the calibre of the people with the pound into the properties?
But that doesn't work, does it? So it's like even, I saw in the paper yesterday that Austin Butler in LA, his mansion got robbed, and yet he'd got the whole estate had security, and they noticed that they saw a broken glass, and
There's no. Listen,
so it doesn't matter where you live.
There is no such thing as a security. If a burglar alarm really did keep a house safe, then every burglar alarm companies would go out of business, because you'd only have to sell, like they'd literally sell it once. It's like a light bulb. You've sold it once, that's it. Of course, it's not going to. There's no such. The only way you're going to secure a house is if you build a moat round it, a trench, and then put like a force field, like that dome that they have. What's the one in Israel? Is it in Israel? They've got that dome, the Iron Dome. Put like that, and then don't leave your house. Literally.
Someone tried to break into a couple of years ago, break into my house and went through my son's room.
His room?
Yeah, and then they realised how bad it was, and they made it the bed. It was that bad. It was fixed.
They were like that. You come back, they're just hoovering.
Mate, I feel sorry for you.
Well, going back to thou shalt not steal, what other religions? There's Lent going on. Anyone doing any Lent business?
I'm doing Lent. Are you not doing Lent?
No.
Come on, why not?
Because I don't know what it is. It starts shows Tuesday, doesn't it?
No. Let you guys have done it.
I've done it before.
So you have to.
I've given up stuff, but I've been forced to.
Really?
I've been forced to. I don't willingly volunteer to give up something.
Okay, then.
I've been banned. Yeah. I must do Lent then. You're not coming in the room. I might as well do Lenten.
Stop throwing your knickers at them. You know, ban. Okay, if you had to, so Lent is same as like Ramadan. You've got to give up something where, well, you know, it's that food, it's a discipline thing. But for Lent, what's one thing that you really like? Like Pete, what's one thing that you love? What's one thing that you
Chocolate.
love?
Donuts.
What's something that you'd be having every day? Every day? Something that you'd have all the time.
Chocolate.
You know?
He loves his chocolates.
Yeah, chocolate if I could every day. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to give that up for 40 days.
It's a modern Christian chocolate, you know.
Yeah.
Like, chocolate was around, Kit Kat was around,
I suppose not.
Jesus used to run a tuck shop.
Jesus died for our sins over Cadbury's.
People turn up, have you got any dates? No, we're all right. We've got Skittles though. I've got Skittles. I've got some lime bars.
I would give up. Do you know what I would give up?
Like? Alcohol? Do you drink?
Nah, red wine, but that's a bit. No, I will probably give up. How long is Lent?
40 days.
Yeah. 40 days.
So it's like
when Jesus went into the desert. For 40 days and 40 nights.
Oh, yeah. I will probably give up. Do you know what I'll probably give up? Swearing.
Really?
Cursing.
That's good.
I wish I could. Say again?
I wish a lot of people would.
Yeah.
You don't swear, do you? You don't really swear.
I do a bit, but it's like when people, it's in their vocabulary, like, you know, I went to the FE, what's
But
it?
you can call me,
and it's in every sentence, and that.
I'm sorry, people. That's how I talk. That's my manner.
But you're not that bad.
No,
I know what Pete means. You mean like when they go, oh, effing this, and I said to the effing missus, effing it, and I was thinking, she's always up the effing thing. I said, no wonder she's out, mate. I would be as well.
I found, no, do you know what? It depends who I'm around. Yeah, if I'm around specific individuals and their curses. Yeah. Like my brothers don't curse. Good. So, and I was with a mate of mine, Billy, and it was every second word was like, proper.
And why come your brothers don't curse? They just don't.
Because they saw the licks I used to get. This is like, I'm not doing that.
See, I won't swear on stage. I'm guessing you guys do.
I curse on stage.
Do you really?
But not like the truth, but I do say the F.
Oh, no,
I said the F word at my friend's wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they
But it was like in context, but I was like, the first words, everyone was congratulating the bride and groom, and I just said, go and do the bride, and I was like, you know what, mate, you've picked a good. I'm sorry.
All the kids at the wedding like that, and all the grandparents are just falling off the seats. See,
because she's like, that's my girl. She's like ride and die, and like, I'm proud of her. So I just mate, that is like East End way of just when you put a curse on, mate, you've picked a proper effing good.
Yeah.
That's like to emphasise.
But could you not use it? I'm just trying to think you've picked it out. We were doing that. We were talking before, weren't we, about that? What's a swear word like sword or bloody or git or something? But I was thinking, couldn't you? You say, oh God, you picked a banger there. But then banger probably means like she's a bit of a goer. Yeah. You don't want that. Yeah.
Do you get?
I will give up cursing.
Do you get less money, more money for like you get?
You get more money. I've been told
family gigs, don't you?
No, I don't. Yeah. If it's family, they're like jail family.
Is that what?
I don't get no normal family gigs.
Well,
I do.
There is the Muslim circuit. I've hired Pat for a few because I know you're clean
but
talking.
I do that. I do the kids shows. I do the Muslim gigs. But even I always find now, even art centres, your standard. You know, if you're doing a theatre show or an art centre show, I always clean anyway. Because there's no point. Because if you look at the theatre show. If you look at that audience, some of them have come in with teenage kids, some of them have come in with like their parents, grandparents who were like in their 70s, 80s, and you're thinking,
I cuss, I tell them. Really? I don't like say you, I'll say to them, do you cuss in front of your kids? And most of them do.
Oh yeah.
But I do read the audience, but I will the F-bomb more. I don't say the C word a lot.
No, yeah. Well, unless it's in context.
I remember like someone like Al Murray, you know, the pub landlord, on the telly. I found him absolutely hysterical, and I got his live video, and because he swore so much, it just it took away from the fun. I don't know. I just didn't find it as amusing. It just didn't seem necessary.
Yeah, and what was he putting in every line or something?
Well, not every line,
but just like you could have still done the jokes without.
Yeah, without it.
I've done that where like off stage, obviously when you're chatting, you could swear, but I remember doing God, it was years ago, and we were doing like, it was one of them, I can't remember, it was on like a ship sort of thing, a cruise ship, but it was like, do you remember the Jongleurs? So the Jongleurs were the old comedy clubs, which were great, but it was more like working class people to slightly lower middle class people who've made a bit of money, and they're like, yeah. But then, so this thing...
Make the scum laugh.
Yeah, make the scum laugh. But they're like, but it was a proper like working class, it was like 400 or 500 people. They sort of come on a holiday thing, and they were lovely. I remember doing a couple of shows, and then we had to do this one show in the evening. It was packed, 500. It was me, and there was another comic, and I can't remember. He was, and he was an alright. He was a nice enough comic, but he was quite middle class, and the audience working class, and he was like panicking, and he was really like experienced. And he was, and I remember he was going, oh God, they're quite working class. I'm like, great, just enjoy yourself. And he goes, oh. Yeah, and I said, look, you've got good jokes, just do your thing. Like this. He went on stage and literally went, good evening, effing this, effing... And he would sometimes swear before, but not like this, and he kept putting F-bombs. So it went like this, and it was killing the gig. And I was like, what you do? And then when he came off, he went, oh, they were tough. And I was like, yeah, because you were trying to turn into a builder. Yeah. And they were looking going, why is he talking?
It makes you worse if you're swearing
with
a posh accent. It's even worse.
Yeah, and they don't realise that you think that you're trying to appease them, but they're not, because most of the old working clubs back in the day, you weren't even allowed to swear. So what you've done is you've just come in and really you've offended them twice. By not only being posh, but by trying then to swear.
I've had that with black shows with white comics have asked me, and I've booked them because they're funny.
Yeah.
But the audience has been black, and I won't say their names, but one of them, it was a well-known comic.
And a white comic? And what did they
very successful. So before he went on, he goes, so what do they like then? So, what do you mean? What do you mean they like? What kind of stuff do they listen to? I said, you have got black mates, right?
What?
I just told him, go up there, talk about bananas and swinging from trees.
Just start singing. Just
start singing. They really like sound effects, like ooh, ooh, ooh. Geezer. Talking about. I said, to I ask you, when I do Jongleurs, you know what I mean? What do white people like?
Yeah. And it's hilarious because, do you know what I think it is? And I don't know where that comic's from, but I've noticed that sometimes it can be a regional thing, because I've seen it where this is why it's so good when you do shows in London and then you go overseas, like you've done it where we've gone over to Europe or America, because you can't just play to a region, because if you do go to certain parts of the north or whatever, it is predominantly from that area, or it might be Caucasian or white or whatever, but in London it's great because you turn up, and I've done gigs where 60% of the audience will either be, it'll be classed as what's classed as BAME now, but they'll either be, black or Asian, be mixed, they'll be whatever, South American, Chinese or Eastern Europe, and that's the great thing where, and then you'll see acts where they go, oh, it's a very London crowd, and you go, what do you mean? It's just a crowd, and they go, yeah, but will they get the stuff? And you go, they'll laugh, if it's a joke, that it's an observation, they will do the same thing, just because it looks,
Do you really think there isn't a difference, like, I don't know, playing to an American crowd versus...
Americans are, you have to explain stuff to them.
Yeah.
When I've been over... no, because our sense of humour is different.
Yeah.
They don't do dry sense of humour.
Oh, they won't get it if you do... No. Yeah, if you do... it's a bit like what's the classic example? So we do observational stuff, which they do. I remember doing New York in the Yale Club, and it was lovely, but the thing is, you can't, if you're doing something and you went, I did this, I went out, and anyway, I said to my mate, I said, you couldn't believe that, we did that, and then, but you clearly know it's a joke, I've just done a joke kind of thing, and the audience will go, oh my God, why would you do that? And they go, because it's a joke, mate, that we're clearly, and they're going, it's a bit like why the Monty Python ever did so well there, because they're like going, oh my God, he tried to sell him a dead parrot. And you go, no, it's a joke, mate, that's the whole point. You clearly, and they just didn't, they take everything for verbatim.
I've got that gag about my boy's mum, about big, stocky, muscular, and I've done that gag in America, and he was like, why would you say that?
Yeah, exactly. What? It's a joke.
It's a joke, mate. Yeah. So, why aren't you legging? Why am I winding in? It's like Mickey Flanagan, isn't it? Come in your ass.
Come in your ass.
It's all right, I won't kiss ya.
Yeah.
It's a classic. Big up Mickey Flanagan.
Yeah, he's so good, isn't he? But I always do.
I promise you I'll kiss ya.
Yeah, oh, he's brilliant. He's one of them that I just think that's perfect because that can work anywhere. His act can work up north, down south, wherever. It's just so.
And you know what? Do you enjoy? Like I enjoy doing Europe because the European audiences really take in. Because I've got to slow down my speech. So
bingo.
Your Cockney accent, oh my God.
Yeah, so but you can see they're really trying to analyse and break down what you're saying. Yeah. They laugh. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Oh God.
But they appreciate when you know a lot about their culture.
Yeah. Oh God. I did Temple Dome, which is the Blue Monday in Germany. God, it was probably 2010 or whenever it was 2008. I remember they were doing shows in the Temple Dome in Berlin, and it was every Monday, and they would get one act would come from the UK, and it was all local acts from Europe, German. The host would come on, he was in German, 400 or 500 people on a Monday night, packed, all Germans. Their English is amazing, but the host was at German, all the acts were German. There was one American guy, and there was me. And I thought, oh, thank God. I said to the American guy, are you doing it in German? Because I only do it in English. And he went, no, I don't really. He lived there. His wife was German. He went, no. I said, I'm going to do it in English. I went, oh, thank God for that. Because I was trying to watch the show and I was thinking, what the hell is going on? They're in German. And, as a comedian, you're thinking, well, I need to go on to follow, to understand what they're going for.
They're killing themselves laughing as well.
And I'm thinking, what the bloody hell? American guys. So everyone's banging it. The audience seemed great. German. I haven't got a clue. The host, German. This is the American guy. We're all chatting like how we're sitting here, and I went to him, really nice thing backstage. And I said, "Oh, you're doing it in English, aren't you?" Tell me. He goes, "Yeah, of course." So he goes off, and then he's about to go on, comes up dressed like Benny Hill, big scarf here, big hat, and I thought, "What the hell are you wearing?" Like he's got like little short pants up here, dressed like a character, and I went, "You are going to do stand-up, aren't you?" He goes, yeah. He walks on, says 3 words in his whole act, and it's all just props running around. And I thought, oh my God, so I'm literally going to be the first person who's going on and speaking English properly. So I go on, audience were lovely. I went out, and I went, good evening. I said, I am from the UK, and they all went, ah. And then I went, my dad, though, is from Ireland. My mum is from Iran. Laughed at. They're all, oh, very funny, very. And I'm like, and they literally were laughing, and I thought, what? And I was like, and I literally stood there, and I was looking at this, and I thought, what? I haven't even told the joke yet. And the joke is meant to be, so we spent most of our family holidays in customs, right? So I'd say that as the joke, and that would get a big laugh in England. Said the joke, nothing. They just all went, oh yes, very difficult. Yes, traveling. And I went. And so every setup I did would get a laugh. Every punchline would just get confusion.
Sometimes when you're talking, they butt in on something they can relate to. So when I tell them my parents from Barbados, I got friends who go there.
Yeah, exactly. They think that because they're not used to we all grew up with comedy where you grew up with comedy where there's a comedian, he's got a microphone, don't give him if you speak, he's going to lay into it. Whereas they're just thinking, oh, very nice man, okay, what are we talking about now? They think it's a group effort. Oh, it was crazy. Yeah.
Someone who could do with a bit of comedic help is Mr. Musk. Yeah, have you seen his latest tweet? He's really sad that his company's not doing well. Have you heard about this?
He's the only person who can lose 800 million and still be rich.
Yeah. How did he lose it then? Because he's done. Tesla, isn't it? With
Tesla, yeah. People are not buying it and protesting it, so but the stocks have gone down. And he got Trump to
oh my God, what was that? He got Trump to buy one of his Teslas.
Buy one of his Teslas.
Are you crazy? Like, oh, who's his PR?
How old is Trump? Late 70s.
78.
78. Like, what is he going to do with a Tesla?
Well, he's hoping that it drives itself.
And there's no way he would have bought it.
No, exactly.
He would have given it to his staff.
No, but he said he's going to buy it for camera's sake.
Yeah. He's not even exact, and also Trump's not even going to drive himself. When's Trump driving? It's mental.
I will never get one of them cars.
Well, do you know what? I originally was thinking I'd love to get an electric car because then you can park for free. You can come into London, into congestion zone for free. And I thought, oh, it's brilliant to save £18. Went to have a look at electric cars. Tesla's obviously at the top. The cheapest electric car you can buy at the time was like 80 grand or 120 grand. I was thinking, to save £18, you're going to spend, are you mad? Who spent, what, I'm going to sell a kidney? I'm going to sell a kidney and then to park
down the M1.
Yeah. Just to drive into London and go, woo, I can park here for free.
So we're of the age, you remember the Sinclair?
Yeah, Sinclair C5, yeah, of course. Yeah. Do you remember? Yeah.
Electric car.
I'm not very good with cars.
So he was a little fella. He used to sit in a mini, like a little pod. Do you not remember that? On the end, like
it was like a version of the attachment to the bikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the old bubble cars.
Bubble cars.
Yeah.
like a Beetle or something.
Well, it was almost like a scooter with a.
You mean like a sidecar?
Well, it looked like a sidecar, but it was called a bubble car, and it was tiny.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah. See, the thing is, them sort of things, way before the time, a Sinclair C5 now, that would be better in London.
Yes.
Because there's so many areas now, pedestrianised or one way, and bike lanes. Get rid of the bike and just put Sinclair C5s and then get rid of the bloody cars. That would be so much better.
But unfortunately, I do not feel sorry for Mr. Musk. You know what I mean? I wonder how much money he needs to lose before he starts to like say to himself, I better start going to Lidl.
Yeah. I don't think he's been to a supermarket full stop. I don't think them sort of people ever go to shop. They don't even, I remember, God, was it something on Britain's Got Talent? I remember seeing a clip online or something social where someone tried to mention something about a supermarket and the judges were obviously laughing, and then Simon Cowell they were talking about bags or something, and Simon Cowell had to turn to Amanda Holden and go, what, I don't get it, what are they talking about? And anyway, supermarket, you'd have to go to a shop, supermarket. It's Simon Cowell's at that level where he doesn't even go grocery shop. Can you imagine Elon Musk has never been, Elon Musk
was similar to what Rishi Sunak when he didn't have to pump the car. Petrol.
Oh, he didn't know how to do the thing, and the price of a Coke. He said, wasn't it the price of a drink at the petrol station?
He didn't have to pay for it.
That exactly, because you were at that level where isn't his missus worth $6 billion, or her mum and dad are worth $6 billion, and she's worth 800 million. So they're at that level, they're just like chauffeurs or whatever, you know. Oh, I saw a great sketch. Do you remember Stanley Baxter, the guy who used to dress up? Yeah, and he's brilliant. And it comes up on the thing, and it's so funny because people nowadays go, oh yeah, comedy, it's the old comedy, we've moved on. Them jokes they used to do were so good. I saw one of Stanley Baxter just quickly about that, where he stood at the side of the road, he's absolutely wasted, he's got a bottle of gin like this, very posh, so police turn up, and they go, have you been drinking? He goes, yes, I have, yes, I've had a drink, would you like one? And they go, no, not, and they went, right, we don't need to breathalyze you, you've been drinking. He said, right, and he stood outside the car like this, and they went, right, you're going to get in the car, I'm going to drive the car to the station, sends the other policeman off in the thing. The policeman goes to sit in the car after he's questioned him and all this. And then Stanley Baxter turns to the policeman in the car and goes, what, you're going to drive the car? And the policeman went, yes, I'm sober. And he went, but what about my chauffeur? And the chauffeur was in the bushes having a wee. So then the chauffeur turns up and the policeman goes, oh my God, so you've not been... And obviously his mate's already got in the police car. And then the policeman goes, can you give me a lift back to the station? He goes, certainly not. And then they just drive off. And I thought, that is great humour, isn't it? Great when you think... But yeah, the thing about Elon Musk, I think the two main reasons people don't like him is because firstly, you mentioned, is because he's so rich. Nobody likes anyone who's that rich. And the second reason is because he's so right-wing. You can't get past that.
And I would add as well, he wasn't really democratically
elected. He's not even a politician.
And he's, sacking all these people and getting rid of all these departments. Yeah. So it's obvious people don't like him.
Yeah. Well, he's gone in with a business brain. Like he's trying to do business, and you realise. But the thing is, the government is not there to make. A government doesn't have to make profits. It's not got shareholders. It's got it's running a country. So it's like, it is. The whole point is, when people go, we sold off the trains, we sold off the water companies, because we want to make them profitable. And you go, yeah, but you don't realise the people who they're going to take the money out of the country. They're going to take the money out of that company, and they're going to leave you stranded. So your trains aren't going to be any better. They're going to be faster, but you're going to be paying the price. But you're going to have the water and stuff. And I think that's the problem with Elon Musk, is he's gone in. They've gone, oh no, he's great. He's going to trim. what was it? Something like we've saved $16 trillion already. And they went with Donald Trump in 44 days, and Elon Musk has saved all this. And they went, yeah, but where's he saved this money? And they went, oh yeah, he's stopped giving aid out to people. He sold off half of America. He sold off all your welfare. He sold off all your insurance.
And when he's told the Caribbean countries they can't use Cuban doctors or nurses.
Really?
They've got to use Americans.
What? In where?
Because they've got the sanctions in Cuba. They've got the sanctions still.
Oh my goodness, crazy. And then the thing about the Canada, have you seen that where Trump said Canada really should be the 51st state because it was just a little line that was drawn across, and if you look on the map, he said that is all part of it. And Elon they're all saying, yeah, it'd be great because Canada would benefit more with us because we don't need any of their assets. It would just be great as a state. And he goes, it's just a line. And I'm like, that's how a map works, mate. Trump must be looking at a map going, look at these lines. If we just get rid of them lines, this could all be America. Look at this. Look at South Africa, that could be the 58th state. Look, we could just put England.
We're going to be popular because we're going on to social media next. So do look out for us on the TikTok, on the Instagram, probably not the Twitter, and
X. What do you mean Twitter?
Oh yeah, X. Yeah, sorry. And well, we try and maybe stay away from X, but we'll go on to Blue Sky and a few other Facebooks as well. So look out for us.
Are you on it?
Blue Sky is a version. It's basically the wussies version of Twitter.
Twitter without the Roman salutes, I would say. So look out for it.
Roman salutes.
This show was brought to you by TNK Euro and additional material by Michael Monkhouse. Look at him there. We will be back on the next episode. Till then, goodbye.